I'm Holly Taylor. It is time to hang out with one of our good company correspondents, and today it's Johnny Rocket, who also is one of the hosts, with myself included, with Why Me Project. So, Johnny, welcome. Thanks for hanging out today.
It's interesting that you mentioned Dan Bremnes because I believe that he'll also be a part of the Joy Top 20 All-Canadian Countdown show coming up for Canada Day.
I would be surprised if he wasn't included.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I would say if he's not in the top 20, it's fixed.
Yeah, we are going to start, because I always say that we have a bunch of people who do all the counting for us.
Yeah.
If he's not on there, somebody's getting fired.
Yeah, exactly. Also, thank you for subbing in for James Curtis on The Drive this week and next.
Yeah, my goodness, it's been a lot of fun. It's weird, getting up early and then doing, the countdown show and everything else. But I'm powered by coffee, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's also how I approach my life and parenthood, powered by coffee and Jesus.
Oh, and here's the thing. I don't think that there's no way that I'm getting closer to the Lord. But then when your kids grow up, and then you start dealing with a lot of parenting things that I feel like I was never told about.
Yeah.
I find that I'm praying a lot more. Like, dear Lord, please let this go well.
Yes, especially when your kids hit milestones. No one tells you that parenthood is truly just the art of gradually letting go from day one.
So my son recently celebrated a birthday in which we went and got his learners.
Oh my goodness. No, not already.
Yeah, that's where we are. And they call it learners for a reason, because he's learning how to drive and I'm learning how to be patient. Mm-hmm. I'm learning how to not scream. I'm saying things like, brake, 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 brake. You're not braking. And then he brakes and he's like, relax, Dad, I have this. I'm like, I don't think you do. Get out of the vehicle.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Talk about a huge milestone. My oldest said she wanted to start babysitting. And I just thought, but you're a baby. How can you look after other babies?
How are babies looking after babies? Because my daughter said the same thing. She's like, do you think that we could find some sort of course when it comes to babysitting? And I kind of want to learn how to do things. I'm like, no, you're not old enough. What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, that is, it's such a weird thing to navigate when your kids become older. They have the opportunity to embrace new responsibilities and not quite there yet as parents.
Well, so, I mean, look, so we talk learners, we talk babysitting. Then my kids are coming up to me, nearing the end of the year. They're like, we have exams. Dad, what's a good studying technique? And I don't want to be the type of father who's like, by the way, I didn't study. There's a reason why I'm in radio, because I want them to do well. But I'm like, well, why don't you try this or why don't you try that? Like it's weird that they're the mature ones and I'm the one who's like, oh, teach me more things, kids.
It's like role reversal already. I thought that was supposed to happen when we were, much, much older.
Right?
Oh, man. But I do firmly believe that in every aspect, in every area of our life, we can learn something. So as our kids are growing and learning, Johnny, what are you learning about being you, a parent, a dad? What are some of those takeaways?
That I think it's interesting that you say this, because I was actually writing a thing. I was writing a letter to a text. Yeah, I now
See, you're dating yourself. Do you use a quill?
Paper.
Quill and ink?
A little feather. I'm like, dear my wife, it is I, your husband. But I was saying to her, I said, I feel as though as we are becoming parents and our kids are growing older, that I still need to tell myself that it's okay that you can make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I made mistakes of them growing up. Now that they're getting older, I've learned and I'm not going to make any more. But no, I'm still riddled with them.
Because they're in different phases. It's different challenges.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think the other thing, too, is that there's no matter whatever I'm going through right now, Halls, you are going to go through something completely different because there's no one size fits all when it comes to parenting.
Yes, exactly. There's great resources out there, of course, that can help at least give you a good foundation. But it's interesting, and I don't think it ever stops. Even my mom says she still worries about me, and she still is the person that I turn to for advice. So as parents, I think one of the number one things that we can pray for when it comes to ourselves is that God gives us the wisdom to navigate the situations as they arise.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because I said to my wife, I said, this whole parenting thing is a forever thing, I guess. And you said with your mom getting worried,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure my parents do as well, but they've also never been like, oh, by the way, I was worried about you. I'm like, oh, really? You still do that? Like I'm old now. You don't have to worry about me anymore.
Yeah, and yet they do because they love you.
No, that's very true. And I think the other thing is that and this holds true because I did it even when my kids were small to now. My daughter she wanted to make some extra money, so she cleaned my vehicle.
Ooh.
And then she goes, as a treat, you should take me out and get a coffee. And I'm like, okay. So she gets a Frappuccino or whatever it was, but I only had a limited amount of money. So she got something and she goes, are you going to get something too, Dad? And I didn't want to tell her, I have no more money. I spent it all on you.
Yeah. Aw, the sacrificial love of a parent. Perfect example right there.
Yeah, so I did get a sip and it was way too sweet. So also signs that I'm getting too old because I find it too sugary.
Oh, man. Yep, the joys of aging. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for stopping in today, chatting about the things that we just never thought that we would have to think about when it comes to parenting.
Yeah, thank you for letting me vent.
Yeah, no, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Oh, man. Johnny Rocket. Again, you can check him this weekend on the Joy Top 20. And then July 5th for the Canadian Countdown, a special edition of a countdown of Canada's top Christian songs. Right now, it's Phil Wickham. This is Our God here on Good Company.